Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and I just so happen to very genuinely believe that we're in a position that is offering a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. In terms of investing in a nutshell, and I'll be very brief here because I just want to make a few points in this as opening a portion of my video here before delving into greater detail, but the biggest reason is we're talking about the crypto asset class really being around slightly over a decade, incredibly nascent, almost no money in the asset class, and it takes almost no money to get this multiplier effect. And so it introduces this interesting position where clearly the asset class is not going away. To me, it could not be more crystal clear. It's going to have staying power. It's more of a question of which cryptocurrencies are going to have tremendous staying power and why. And I think that utility matters along those lines. And so this represents an opportunity to beat Wall Street in terms of investing because although, yes, there's some Wall Street money in the world of crypto, not much compared to where I suspect it will be in the future. I want to be clear, I don't have a financial background of any kind. I am not a financial advisor. I'm not offering advice of any kind, and so you absolutely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I just think these are fun topics to talk about as your everyday Joe Schmo member of the XRP community, and making YouTube videos is fun too. I just smash these two hobbies together, and it's a good time. My most favoritist hobby ever. But before we go any further, if you would please delicately tap the like button, I would definitely appreciate the support. And also, go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel if you love your mama. Because your mama loves you, and she wants you to be happy. And if you subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel, you will find, my friend, you will find true happiness. That's the Moon Lambo guarantee, and that's what's up. Now here's the headline from the Daily Hodl. Raoul Pal delivers ominous stock market warning, says Bitcoin offers rare chance to beat Wall Street. Now, I will cite here, although he's Mr. Gung-Ho about Bitcoin, and he's probably right about this too, I still think if you can find, and this is just my humble opinion, none of it's advice, but I firmly believe that if you can find any cryptocurrency that, it's reasonable to suspect it's going to have long-term viability. Because it's solving a real-world problem, and it's a smaller cap coin than Bitcoin. Investing in that one will yield, I personally believe, better results than investing in Bitcoin, which will outperform any other asset on the planet in all likelihood. Barring some sort of additionally unforeseen technological marvel that people throw money in, outside of something completely unforeseen like that, that's the way that I'm looking at this. And so this piece begins as follows. Raoul Pal, co-founder and CEO of Real Vision Group, says Wall Street may be heading towards a brutal breakdown. The former Goldman Sachs hedge fund manager says investors should pay attention to a key chart that suggests the recent stock market rally may come to an abrupt and painful ending. And here's a quote. I kind of think that there's the underlying narrative and we're transitioning from hope to insolvency. Just remember, if you look at this last chart, this is the rally now versus the rally in 1929. It kind of peaked out around these levels and this time. Also, there was a secondary rally in 2001 and into 2002. I remember it well. That was the hope phase rally of that. There was an earlier hope phase back in 2011 as well. That one peaked out after about 6 months, so the timing is around here. And so, look, I'm not Mr. Doomsday. I'm also not Mr. Hype. I'm in between because I'm a realist. It doesn't mean, look, there's so much awesome stuff and legitimate reasons to be super excited about what's happening within the crypto asset class and around the XRP ecosystem. Like, we don't need the crazy hype here. But I'm not going to make this channel purely like puppies and ice cream and rainbows and that type of, like, all the happy things in life. That's not what I'm going to do. We need realism in here as well. But I will share this. While I want to be as much of a realist as possible, I'm not yet convinced that you're going to see this potential type of decline, especially of the stock market, especially if you're talking about over a time frame such as this. And fine, maybe this guy's right, and maybe everything goes down in a handbasket or some such thing. Maybe it's not even going to be a handbasket. Maybe it will be a designer handbag. Go fancy on the way down. I don't know. I'm just saying. But the piece continues. Although he believes fiat currencies around the world will be significantly devalued due to increased money printing, Paul says A collapse of the U.S. dollar is not on the horizon. Now, this is where he's perfectly in line with the way that I've been looking at the situation as well. Check out this quote. I don't buy into the dollar collapse argument. Not yet. Sure, could the dollar weaken? Is it going to collapse? I don't think so. I think the Bank of England today, talking about negative rates, has proved why it's not going to happen. Everybody has to do the same thing. The world is not just about the U.S., guys. It's about everybody trying to protect themselves, and they all know the only answer they've got is printing more. There is no monetary policy left. When we do that, when all of the currencies are continuing to do that, what you're losing is purchasing power of the currencies overall. Yeah, and this is absolutely fundamentally true. I've talked about this a fair bit on this channel, especially with what's happened over the last half a freaking year or so, printing the dollar into oblivion. And while I say it like that, part of the reason is it's funny to say it like that, a little bit of dramatic flair, but I always follow up by stating I don't think the dollar is going to actually collapse anytime soon. Not that it's impossible for it to happen. It's certainly true that if you look historically that any country that's treated their fiat currency like this in the past, without any sort of exception, it eventually happens. You look at what's happened, there will be a collapse. So it doesn't mean it's going to anytime soon. I just don't see anything changing. It's just going to take a whole lot more for it to happen, especially with the United States dollar being the global reserve currency. So that's certainly worth considering as well, in my humble opinion here. But it will continue to be devalued. And there's always a place that you can invest, though, where things can appreciate. There's always a bull market somewhere. I can't remember who came up with that phrase, but I believe that to be true. If something's going down in value for any reason, well, it's going somewhere else. There's always a bull market somewhere, and it's kind of fun to figure out what it is. And that's why, like I started out the video, it's like, to me, it couldn't be more obvious what that is. And even if it goes down in the short term, whatever. I firmly believe that this crypto asset class will outperform any other asset class over, say, the next decade or so. I can't believe that won't be the case. And there's so many reasons for that, obviously. But well, he expects. Wait, is that where I left off here? Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, and so this is actually where in my humble opinion, the article gets most interesting. Check this out. While he expects the U.S. dollar to lose purchasing power, Powell says he believes Bitcoin could soar to $1 million in the next 5 years. He says retail investors currently have a rare opportunity to buy Bitcoin before an influx of institutional investors jump in. Now, outside of the price prediction, because I don't make price predictions, and it's not like I'm never going to even endorse a price prediction. I'm not, because I believe it, and I don't. I'm not convinced of anything in terms of price action specifics, other than like the potential for things to go one direction over another over a longer period of time. But even in short-term time frames, I acknowledge things could go very poorly. Like I'm being a realist about this. And they could get much worse than they are right now. I totally acknowledge that. But over the long haul, I think that the crypto asset class is going to be probably a multi-trillion-dollar asset class. It'd be weird to me if that never happened. But so there you go. Like, he is nailing it. So throw out the price prediction. Maybe that's right. Maybe it's wrong. That sounds like a crazy number for such a short time span. But hey, I'm not going to pretend to know. But think about this. In terms of institutional investors and also like publicly traded companies, in addition to that, like we've seen with MicroStrategy and Square, like the money is coming in, and we were here before just about all of them. And what's going to happen once the rest of that money pumps in for cryptocurrencies that are illiquid, like XRP? Because XRP is not particularly liquid. I mean, that's obvious. Even Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple CEO, has kind of talked about how demand outstrips what Ripple can do in terms of launching new on-demand liquidity corridors, because there's not enough liquidity. And that's not like it's Ripple's fault. It's just the asset class as a whole is not that liquid. But that's the cool thing. That is what represents a huge part of the opportunity to get the multiplier effect coming in. Like I've been saying lately, it doesn't take that much. And so that's why I think he's hitting the nail on the head here. As far as the concept of being able to get in before the big money, yes, absolutely. And check out this quote from him. I think he's just killing it here. Because here's the rationale. I think that knowing we can front run every institution This is a retail revolution driven from the ground up, and when we see that we, retail investors, are going to be ahead of the pension plans, the family offices, the corporate treasurers, and everybody else involved in the space, they're all coming. Wait till the Bitcoin ETF gets launched. Wait till it becomes easier to buy the products and find it easier for other people who are not involved in the space. It's going to suck more people in. The more it goes, people come in, the more the market cap goes up. The more the market cap goes up, the more it sucks people in. I think we're going to have a reflexive loop that is going to be enormous in this space. By the way, I want to pause right there because that happened to me. Because I didn't know what I was getting into when I jumped in the space. I did it on a whim. Admittedly, I was treating it just like... I'm not a gambler, by the way, but I just thought, oh, what the hell? I threw in a tiny bit of money just for the hell of it, thinking it was going to be a nothing. I was like, I'll throw in like this little tiny baby bit of money and then check back in a decade. But then I was like, okay, I'm curious. I did my research. And now here I am 3 years later running a cryptocurrency YouTube channel. Never would have guessed this. Never would have freaking guessed that I would have guessed. But that's the thing. I'm here because there is something to it. There is utility to be had here. And some people are never going to do the research to figure this out, and they'll get burnt and they'll go away with every market cycle. Fine. But there are going to be people like me, and if you're listening to this, probably you're in a similar boat. If I had to guess for fun, that do the research and do figure this out and will hang around. And then you keep getting this. This is what he's talking about when he says a reflexive loop. And then here's the last bit of his quote. It's coming, and we get to front run it, and it's the world's hardest currency. It's the hardest currency we've ever had by any definition. And it's bloody easy to use and transfer around, so I think that that Bitcoin from every level looks like the best bet. And so while I've openly expressed my concerns about Bitcoin, I certainly acknowledge that it could be here forever, and I would prefer that. I really would. I'm not a maximalist of anything. I'm just most interested in XRP because my whole thing is utility. Right, and I just see that that XRP is being adopted today for a real world use case, solving problems for real people. To me, that's rather substantial. But absolutely, as soon as it gets even easier for people to jump in, they will. As soon as it's as easier to jump on your legacy platform and buy cryptocurrency next to your stocks, you know, that's what we're looking for, really. And it's not there yet. It's just not there yet. But as soon as it's that easy, my gosh, floodgates will open. They have not yet. Even if you thought the floodgates opened in 2017, relatively speaking, I guess you could make the argument, yes, but in the scheme of things, oh, no, not there yet. It's still early days, and to me, that is always an exciting recognition of reality. That's my humble opinion here. That is it for this video. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.